Because you look at this recycling system, you're like, what the hell do they do with these things?
Exactly.
This looks like this is going to go in the garbage. Like I guarantee somebody's going to throw this in the garbage. I don't know.
Honestly, I don't really know if the program is good or not, and so I just trust that it is.
There have been a few times though where I've been like, I don't know actually where this goes. I've been impressed with the improvements they've made. Their current system is much improved from previous systems.
It could be more detailed on where each particular item would go.
I think it's a lot better than a lot of other universities, that's for sure.
I think that there are a lot of bins, and they're not always very well labeled.
So it's good, but I think it could be improved definitely.
Matt Greeno and I work at the sustainability office here. That is campus planning and sustainability. And I'm working here as a sustainability coordinator. So institutionally, our mandates focused around operations on campus. That refers to energy use on campus, buildings, green buildings, waste reduction on campus. Those are some of my primary portfolios. It's very kind of derived based on an understanding about greening or reducing waste in your operations. It's a much broader concept in a lot of institutions, and ideally we could go there as an institution sometime in the future. So the main problems that I could articulate probably, under one great heading is really waste reduction. So we have waste diversion. We have it down pretty good.
Just like a lack of compost bins.
The impromptu coffee makes it a little more challenging.
There's more options and better signage and everything. I feel like I can make more of a conscious effort to do it.
The area around it, there's a lot of clutter. It's oftentimes a mess. At least the one by the residence buildings that I go to.
That it's really inconvenient. You got to take your stuff out of res, go into the waste compounds, and then sort it out. And you probably have one bin, and God knows what you put in there. Maybe there's an apple core, maybe there's you threw up in there. I don't know. You got all this stuff, and you're like, well, this is all going in the frickin' garbage, isn't it? So, any number of circumstances could lead to messy, inconvenient, really punishing circumstances that you'd have to go through in order to recycle or sort out your waste.
Here we have the residence compound for the UVic students who live here in the residence complex. It is used for recycling, composts, and garbage. Okay, so as you can see, it often doesn't get utilized properly. Here we have in the bottled cans and mixed containers, there's all sorts of garbage. The containers aren't properly washed and cleaned, which makes it much more difficult to dispose of them properly once they're taken away.
The social side of it is something we don't really address, but certainly there's aspects to it, and where I personally focus, seeing sustainability is really a people problem. It's about us. We're not doing the things that keep us healthy, strong, and kind of growing as a civilization. Waste reduction is a difficult one. It means you refocus not so much on what you're sending to the landfill, but what you shouldn't be sending in the first place, what you shouldn't be creating in the first place. We know that people would report to us that they don't want to stand at a waste bin and look up what to do with it, but hopefully the knowledge that it exists will initiate some people to look up some things that they know they have an issue with and they know that they feel confused about. So there's that part of it. Now, relative to, I think what you're asking, tell me if I'm wrong, but you're asking where it ends up in the end.
Yeah.
Where does this go?
That was a big issue. People were like, I don't know what happens to it. I just trust that this system makes it work.
Yeah.
Is there anything you guys could tell the students, or do you not know either?
Yeah, it's a good question. Now, I feel the same thing. I'm totally identifying.
are at Heartland Landfill here, and we're actually sitting on the Todd watershed, estimated to last for the next 35 years. So what's that, roughly 2050-ish plus and beyond, a little bit beyond that. Just to give you some context and scope and what that means, is up there where that last ridge is, if we were looking this way, this entire area would be full. So 1950 was the time that it was actually dumped. So that meant throwing anything in. There was no diversion back then. And then it took over at about 1980s, and then it got transferred into an engineered sanitary landfill. So that's when environmental management and control came into place. So that's how we have today diversion programs, environmental monitoring, management, testing. So all sorts of programs in place to ensure we're reducing our impact and our footprint.
We're from the Raptors, the Bird of Prey and Falconry organization based in Duncan, so just up island. All the birds that we fly have been hatched and raised with people. So Kara was hatched at our facility to do education, whether it's flying demonstrations, hands-on encounters, or to do this, to do bird abatement and to work and move gulls and other species that might be hazardous. So at a landfill, helping to keep them out of the garbage does a number of things. Well, I know you're excited to see them. One of them is decreasing the spread of garbage, which can help decrease rodent populations and help stop spread that way. Of course, it's also nicer for us to not have garbage everywhere, and it encourages the gulls to go to a natural feeding source. Heartland Landfill is excellent in the way that there's actually very little food waste in the garbage, so when the gulls are trying to eat, they're not getting a lot of food, so again, encouraging them to go to a natural feeding source. We're utilizing that natural predator-prey relationship. So they're very scared of Kara. Kara loves to chase gulls. It's one of her favorite things to do. So it's enriching for the birds as well. And we do have other things, of course, that we use in conjunction with the birds, like we have stock whips. We also use pyrotechnics. So just making it all work together. But the raptors are really the ones that drive it home, just having that predator.
We also have a landfill gas program, so we collect, with the leachate, we also collect landfill gas, and this gas is methane, so we use it at our facility to generate electricity, and this powers 1,100 homes in the region. A big component of that is still outreach and education in terms of, letting people know that you can take your electronic equipment here for free. Anything with batteries, it doesn't have to end up in the landfill. Like, we can certainly divert that. It's healthier for the environment and the system and people. We're really here to strive to make a difference, sustainability-wise and health-wise for our environment and the residents of the community.
It's been years. It was years in the making, but had finally taken the plunge to put money into a compost program. And there's different staffing requirements. We've actually have our contractor, our waste contractor, Refuse, doing the work. Refuse is the one that actually collects the compost for us. As a private organization, essentially it works the same as businesses in terms of municipalities. So municipalities take away the compost or food scraps, what they call, from houses, but we don't have that. We don't have that kind of relationship with the municipality. They don't come and collect ours, so we have to have a service. We've used Refuse for years, since I think 2003, actually, talking about in food services, the amount of waste that they would produce. Almost half of or over half actually, when I did the stats, was roughly 60% of the food waste sent to the composting program in the last number of years has been from food services, 60%. So it's a lot. There's two sides to that. It's two sides of the same coin, right? So one side is they're doing such a good job. They concentrate so heavily. They put so many people hours into reducing the amount of waste going to landfill. They're almost a zero waste operation. We can go in and certify them. We haven't done that, but to say that they are doing a lot of work on that, and that's one of the reasons our diversion rate's as high as it is. When they go to a waste station, when they need to get rid of something, there's options available to them. and then they have to make a choice. There's no reason why they wouldn't do the right thing unless they don't know how to do the right thing, or unless the right thing is not convenient enough for them. It's going to be much more convenient to have all the bins in one location and have everybody sort their stuff out. So that's been a big move for us, and that's been really effective as well. But the other side of it is that they're producing food waste, and they don't really know whether it's, I don't know, they probably say it's efficient, but there's ways and programs out there, say one in the Lower Mainland on food waste, to try to help the actual preparers themselves, the chefs, the cooks, the line cooks, etc., to try to understand how much they're producing and try to aim at a goal to reduce that. What we're talking about still is there's a lot of coffee cups used on campus. Disposable coffee cups are still the norm, even though we're much better than most campuses.
We used to have compostable cutlery, but unfortunately we've gone back to plastic cutlery, but that still gets recycled in the brown bins. So
Was that just like a cost-saving measure, or?
partially a cost-saving measure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the cornstarch cutlery was wonderful, but it was expensive. The outlets all still use them, so places like Max and Nibbles and Biblio, they still have that cutlery, but we, as we're a bigger place, we have lots of plastic.
Our investigation showed that waste management system has gotten significantly better over the years, but still needs to be improved. The biggest issue we discovered was that many people feel there isn't enough transparency within the system itself. We've created a disconnect between ourselves and our waste. We've come a long way since dumping everything into the same bin. Nevertheless, our system should be less about diverting waste and more about reducing it. We can make an effort to stop the problem before it starts. We can all agree that convenience is important in order for individuals to properly interact with the system on a regular, daily basis. However, we now cater to convenience, meaning we ignore areas that require redesign because we fear it won't work. We fear that people won't be willing to make the necessary changes for sustainability.
It's difficult to determine what exactly people are doing with this stuff. I have no idea, and in the end, I'm doing the exact same thing as the students.